Hello, my name is Alex Clarke. This is my life video, and I hope you enjoy.
I was born on the 29th of September 1997 in Grantham General Hospital around 3 p.m. My father was in the RAF, which meant that my family had to move around a lot from different postings. The first one, when I was born, was in Gibraltar. The last two were Northern Ireland and RAF Wellington here in England. When I was 7 years old, my parents divorced, which meant that I and my older sisters, Jenny and Lisa, had to live in different homes for the foreseeable future. I and my sister Lisa with my mother, and my older sister Jenny with my dad. But in a few years later, my sisters finished their respective schools and went on to live their own lives and have kids of their own. My eldest sister, Jenny, had my oldest nephew, Benjamin, and my second oldest sister, Lisa, had my youngest nephew and niece, Finley and Grace. I went to school first at Lowfields Infants, which later became the Meadows Primary, which I also went to. Late after that, I then went to Northcote Stevens School for Performing Arts and got a merit standard for my work in media, even though I never thought about doing it as a career or done it before as a subject. However, after doing the course, I learned to love the subject and made plans for a future career in media, either as a voice actor or as a radio broadcaster. This led to me going to Lincoln College, where I hope to get a good grade so that I can be one step closer to my goals of working in the media industry. I have also applied to the radio station Sound FM for a job as a radio presenter on one of two shows that I feel I would be good at, which are No Adults Allowed and Siren Cinema. All with the hopes of getting the work experience I need for the job, because having a good grade only gets you so far. But it is the experience of the job that gets you further in life and secures your place at said job or others like it. I like and enjoy most of the music genres of today, with the only exception being mostly pop music, as I believe it has been tainted by the whining singers like Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus and so on. But there are some singers whose music I enjoy, including Lorde and Britney Spears, whose song Toxic first got me into pop music, and what I mean is that it got me into liking pop songs when I was just only listening to rock and classical. Three of my favourite songs are Hard Rock Hallelujah by Lordi,
Hard rock, hallelujah. Hard rock, hallelujah. Hard rock, hallelujah. Hard rock, yeah. Rock and roll angels, bring that hard rock, hallelujah. Demons and angels holding one hand right. Rock and roll angels, bring that hard rock, hallelujah. In God's creation, supernatural high.
Feral Love by Chelsea Wolfe,
Run from the light. Your eyes black like an animal. Deep in the water.
and Last Resort by Papa Roach.
Cause I'm losing my sight, losing my mind. Wish somebody would tell me I'm fine. Losing my sight, losing my mind. Wish somebody would tell me I'm fine. Nothing's alright, nothing is fine. I'm running and I'm crying. I'm crying.
These songs are my sort of motivational music. Not saying that classical music doesn't inspire me to work harder. In fact, the first classical genre song I listened to was the Duel of Fate song that featured in the Star Wars, it was Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, as Darth Maul's theme song, and as both my parents and older sisters were die-hard Star Wars fans, I felt like it was tradition to like this music and the film, which was both the first Star Wars and sci-fi film I watched, but more for that later. You're probably wondering how death rock, metal, and classical and normal rock, as well as other genres that are more for headbangers and thinkers, is motivational. Well, the thing is, I am a headbanger, but I don't let the music distract me. Instead, I let it focus my mind like a laser beam with the music, as well a focusing lens. The only bottom line is that the music actually helps me to keep concentrated on the task at hand and the work I need to do. My opinion on films is the same as my opinion on music. I don't have a favourite genre per se, as I like many film genres except for romance, girly themed films like Love Actually, or the Disney films that I have grown out of, but still watch them when I'm with my nephews and or niece for more their benefit than mine. However, it doesn't mean the kid in me is gone for good, as I still watch some films like Big Hero 6 and Inside Out, as those type of films still reinforce the idea of family and friendship that I grew up with while watching Disney films like Little Mermaid and Lion King, even the modern day era where most people become friends with each other over the social media networks. But when they meet them in real life, they may end up being disappointed or worse than that. But I'm getting slightly off topic here, as I should talk about the films I like and how they interest me, so it is. I watch a lot of films, and as a result I can make puns, repeat jokes in the films, and even reference a few good ones to my friends and people I met which share my interests in the film. More than once, I have been compared with that convenience store owner in Family Guy who is a film buff as well, but here are the main differences between him and I. I only watch films when I got nothing better to do, which is rarely look at hobbies for the reason. I grew up in an RAF home where history and films were the only pastimes besides going to school, and pranks my sisters and I played on our parents and each other. I shave and have a shower every day, plus I'm not addicted to drugs like marijuana either as a recreational thing or as a medical painkiller. But I know that some people think it as a compliment and I don't always get that, as I literally can't, which is partly down to my upbringing in Northern Ireland, no need to elaborate on that situation, and my Asperger's syndrome. However, it does not affect how I interact with people who also have the same interests in films as I do, and other related subjects, like character roles in the films, franchises that the characters are a part of, and the stories in the films, and how we connect to them and how they make us feel after watching them.
I've told you this once before. Can't control me. If you try to take me down, you're gonna break. I feel your every nothing that you're doing for me.
Favoured pastime of the youth of today and the future. However, it has come under a lot of fire from pompous politicians who say that it is increasing violence in teenagers and young people who play them. But in my expert opinion, most politicians don't really look at the actual facts, when most of the time they are pursuing their own interests using the classical think of their children gimmick that gets them votes from parents during the next elections. In reality, I believe, and many other kids and teens would agree as well, that gaming, especially violent games, are a healthy outlet for frustration that most kids feel about school, and parents, or to put it more simply, it is a cheap form of anger management. And to those who say that the games don't educate us, I say bloody wrong, as there are plenty of puzzles in violent games and vice versa. But this is about me and my favourite games, which are like music and films. I don't really have just one favourite, but quite a number of them, ranging from first-person to third-person shooter games, and hack and slash games like the recently released Destiny or Spartan to Warrior, respectively. Most of the games I play are primarily to blow off steam or stress, and as a way to pass the time, or just because I feel like playing a game that I have not played in a while, or yet. I have quite a large number of games, both at my house and at my dad's house in Peterborough, like most of the Assassin's Creed games, all but the first Call of Duty games, and lastly games like Dragon Age Inquisition and Of Orcs and Men, follows perspectives of an orc warrior and a goblin assassin to kill a tyrannical human emperor as he launches a genocidal campaign against their kind. One of my favourite hobbies is reading books, some based on fact like history magazines or books, and some that are on fantasy oriented like Rick Riordan's Kane Chronicles or Percy Jackson and the Heroes of Olympus. However, reading books is not all I can do. I read small stories, most of them which are mainly fanfiction creations. However, I've written some original stories, some of which are inspired by the films, TV series, and books I've watched/read, but I won't say anything about what they are or what they're about for copyright reasons, nor will I be showing any material from the stories I've written for the same reasons. But two other matters. My other hobbies are helping out my mom, as I need to stay active by doing something or else I start going crazy. Even though helping out one's mom is not a hobby, it's still something to do in order to pass the time, especially if there's nothing to watch on TV or if you're staying off your Xbox for a while, which is something I do in order for me not to get insomnia or something else like that. Anyway, my other hobbies are playing chess or pool at the youth club in North Highcombe, where I go on Wednesdays in the evening, and when I go down to my dad's once a month, I help out at the Peterborough's Natural History Museum as a volunteer floor assistant, which involves me making sure each exhibit on the floors is organised and not missing anything, as well as giving tours of the exhibits to visitors and tourists who ask all sorts of questions about the exhibits, which I answer, plus I also tell them some facts that they didn't know, like beforehand, about the museum itself, and how it evolved from a Tudor household to the modern day museum it is today. I'm also a fan of physical sports, my favourites being mixed martial arts or MMA, rugby and boxing, as my dad is a fan of rugby and a former amateur rugby player when he was at RAF Waddington. I learned from a young age to love the sport more than football, as I only ever watched football matches with David Beckham in them. My favourite national team is Leicester Tigers, and my favourite international teams are the New Zealand All Blacks and the England national team, not so much after losing to Wales and Australia in the recent World Cup. My passion for MMA and boxing comes from when I was a kid living on RAF Waddington, when my dad had a mate who was a former amateur boxer and who was also training to be an MMA fighter as well. He showed me some of the moves he was practicing and I got hooked on the sport, you could say.
Okay, and that's my live video. I hope you enjoyed it very much. Thanks for watching. Coming towards you, face backwards if you're underage. And put your hands in the air like you just don't care.